All right, welcome back. Today's episode of Healthy Meal Preppers, we are going to be talking about goals, so stay tuned.
Hello, we are your hosts, Melissa,
Amita, and Beth.
Entrepreneurs, busy moms, and women keeping it real, especially when it comes to meals, mindset, and movement. We will show you that taking charge of your health is accessible, attainable, and easier than you think. Follow along as we offer tips, tricks toward healthy and happy living without overwhelm or shame. Welcome to Healthy Meal Preppers.
Welcome back, everyone. Today's talk is on goals. So, in the 21-day reset, I talked a little bit about 1-day goals, 3-month goals, 1-month goals, 6-month goals, 1-year goals even. And it all sounds kind of daunting, but I mean, I also talked about how Melissa uses paper and I use my phone, but I've been using paper and my phone now. And I think MyFitnessPal is my favorite app. So are you still using paper, Melissa?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you use any apps?
I like I don't know if it's Chronometer, whatever.
I think it's Chronometer.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it because it has the minerals, vitamins, minerals, that kind of thing as well. So
yes,
it's like a MyFitPal, but it has that part of it, which I found fascinating.
I haven't used that one.
Yeah, you should
check it out.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. I think I have a link to it. I'll make sure it's up on Facebook or something.
Yeah, good idea. I'm putting it in the notes on YouTube.
That's a good idea.
So I think the first thing, though, when you're setting goals is, yes, it's good to think of the end in mind. Obviously, start with the end in mind because I want to be, this much leaner, or I want to be this weight, or for me right now, I'm trying to build muscle. And just this morning, I was talking about how I haven't done any measurements. I kind of forgot, to do measurements. And then my trainer didn't say that. He said, why don't you just take a picture? And I was like, I really don't want to take a picture. And so I just said no. And then I didn't think about, I was like, I just have this goal of becoming stronger. So I didn't do it either. And I was just talking about how I've increased my protein, but I've also increased my calories in general, which is fine, except that I end up snacking. So I need to figure out what my snacks are going to be. I need to plan my snacks.
Right.
So I have new goals. I took a picture today.
Really?
Not attractive. And it's literally just of my back, which is in a sports bra. But I got over it, and it's probably better than it was 2 months ago. And I have room. I mean, we all know what a nice back looks like.
Right.
And I haven't really thought about it because I don't look at my back.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just start with that.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm doing a lot of back things.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was like, I make you guys do a lot of rows, me and my husband both, because we're at our computer all day. And he's like, you're already better in your posture. I know that. So that can only be good for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm aiming for sexy back, but I'll take better posture.
I did. I weighed myself.
Okay.
I did all the measurements.
Good for you.
I took pictures.
Okay. Wow.
I know. But I can't find the journal that I wrote it in.
Oh.
I know it's not lost.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
But I can't find it. And I do want to do a check-in now that I've been working a lot harder. I want to do a check-in. So I want to find the original so I can see how far I've come.
Yeah.
But I think that obtainable for me. It really wasn't about the weight on the scale, although it was the same weight all prior to Maddie Moo. I mean, I fluctuated 3 pounds.
Right.
That was it. 3 pounds. I literally did not fluctuate more than 3 pounds all those years. I know, it's very weird. But it's the size for me. I have clothes that I know that are not forgiving. I'm not talking about jeans that stretch out in 2 hours. You know what I mean? Fabric that is not forgiving. And so when I can fit into those, then I know that's for me.
That's good. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I figured something out today. Well, the reason I started training for real was also because I was doing physical therapy for my shoulder.
Right.
So I thought, okay, rehabbing my shoulder was like my goal. And honestly, I thought it was going to take longer. So I didn't really have, so then my like be stronger goal was like good enough, but it's really vague. And probably everyone's heard of SMART goals. And if you haven't, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Mm-hmm. And so you have to put like a timeline on it. You have to say like be very specific. It has to have like a actual measurement. So, I mean, I give like goal talks all the time, but somehow I didn't make my own SMART
Well,
goal.
what if it was, I mean, I know in the beginning you talked about how you just were on the elliptical.
Right.
And you were like huffing and puffing, and then realized that you chatted on the phone the entire time you're on the elliptical, and you're like, wow, I'm not even like out of breath.
Yes.
So, I mean, maybe for you it's different. It's more about what you can achieve.
Yeah,
like if it's, I can do 10 push-ups.
Right.
Like that means I'm strong.
Right. That's a good
Whatever
point.
that
That's
is.
a good point.
You know what I mean?
Well, I also finally asked the trainer today because, part of the reason we pay our trainers because I don't want to think.
Right.
So I have never like asked him like, what weight am I lifting?
Right.
For example, right?
Or
So
is that what he measures? Or is it like the reps or the time? I mean, it's based on his philosophy.
He said, and I wish Beth was here today, but she's attending her kid's graduation, so we'll forgive her today. But we will have her all summer. And he said it's all of those things. So he's like, for you, like, and I kept telling him, I don't want to be bulky. And he's like, you're not going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Don't worry. And I'm like, that's probably a good point. Like, he's like, I think we're safe there. So, but he's like, yeah, at some point, he's like, even though you can, I was doing like pulleys, lift 40 pounds or something. Not now. I'm like 15 right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I want you to ever do that because that's not your goal. Like, your goal is to become stronger for your frame. So interesting. And we just increase the reps or the sets or whatever, depending on where we're at. Like, in 6 months, if you're happy with the way your arms look or back looks or whatever, I don't know.
Sexy back.
Keep you posted on that. Then we stay there at that weight. Like, we don't go up on the weight. And I was like, oh, I didn't really think about it that way because in my mind, I'm like, I want to lift my couch with ease. I'm like, is this really my goal though? Like, that would be helpful, but like,
yeah,
is that really my goal?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think you could attach it to things,
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. So I like your specific goal.
Like how many sit-ups
or that pair of pants or whatever. Like that's very specific and measurable and attainable.
Right.
And the only thing that doesn't have is the time attached. But sometimes that can be a double-edged sword. So I don't always love to do that because it's like, I will get this done in 30 days. And then you're like, really though? Because it always takes longer than you think.
Yeah, it's
true. I don't know. I don't know. It depends on like the kind of person you are. If you're okay with, I'm not where I wanted to be in 30 days and you don't beat yourself up, great. I tend to beat myself up if I don't attain my goal in my time frame. And I think that's why my goals are a little bit vaguer because I know that about myself. Mm-hmm. But I've never had a trainer before, and I really did not think my shoulder was going to be this much better in just 2 or 3 months.
Right.
So, maybe I can do things I didn't think I could do before. But anyway, so tell me more about your measurement thing or your baseline that you talk about.
Oh, what, the baseline?
I mean, they're similar, right?
Yeah. I think I wanted to notice change in certain areas for sure. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason I am trying to improve on before I feel like 20s, 30s, it was like lose weight. I don't know. That was just so like, okay, I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was easier to do then. Yeah. And now I find myself kind of honing in on certain body parts, certain things. Like, I mean, for us as we get older, the bottom of our tummy, I mean, it was just nothing that I ever had to think about or worry about or anything. So like now I'm focused on exercises that are specific to an area. And maybe it's just, social media. Once you click on something, if it's talking about abs or whatever, then you see that for the next 37 days until you stop obsessing about abs. But So I think that it's easy for me when it comes to getting under a certain number, whether that's carbs or whether that's like that. For me is easy. That math is easy. But I think working on setting those fitness goals are something that I think the rest of it comes, right? Here's my philosophy is that if my activity is I'm improving every week, I'm consistent, I feel myself improving even if I'm doing the same thing. It's just easier than it was before, right?
Agreed.
And so then I can I feel like our bodies automatically want to go to the next level, right? Like I want to walk a little faster than I was, and I want to jog a little longer than I was. So we automatically are when it comes to fitness, I think we automatically, our bodies want to do hitting those goals in the beginning. I just say it's a pain in the neck. It's just it's a pain. It's a pain to weigh food. It's a pain to
still struggling.
It's hard. It's hard in the beginning, but then once you know you can eyeball things and you know what you need just by eyeballing it, then it becomes easier and easier. And then I find this is another weird thing that I think our bodies do. The less fats we have, the less we crave fats. The less sugar we have, the less sugar we crave.
For sure.
The more less salty foods that we eat, the less salt we crave. The more plain our food is, the more we crave plain food.
Agreed.
The measurements and the taking pictures and those types of things, I think it's just so that you see, oh my gosh, there is progress.
Officially.
Right. And I know people say that, gosh, you look different. You look stronger. I see muscle, definition that I didn't see before. You see a tape measure and you measured your arm and you're like, wow, my arm is getting smaller there. Or maybe it's bigger because I'm trying to build.
I was like, I'm and that's the tricky part, I think, for me too. I wanted to mention real quick before I forget about the sugar thing.
Right.
So also, just on a note, sweeteners count. Because when you want fake,
are you talking about fake sweeteners?
Yeah, I mean sugar-free items that are still sweet.
Heck yeah.
That still makes you crave sugar.
Heck yeah.
And sugary things. So just don't fool yourself into thinking, oh, I'm going to drink this sugar-free thing, or I'm going to eat this sugar-free thing, and then I'll be fine. It'll satisfy my craving, because it probably won't.
Sure.
I often tell my patients that they can actually probably take 2 sips of a real Coke versus
the fake
stuff.
Right.
Because you also fool yourself into thinking that you're not drinking Coke. Just satisfy your craving for the sugar and take 2 sips.
Right.
Instead of drinking a whole can of sugar-free, I was going to say fake. Sugar-free Coke or whatever. Coke Zero.
I think, so there's the lower glycemic types of sweeteners. Like a monk fruit or date, date paste, things like that are still naturally occurring. I think if people are going to ease themselves off sugar, start with a very, very natural sweetener alternative. Or I guess they're still sweet. They're not alternatives. But if you
sugar
look at
alternative.
So you take the stuff that's in a Diet Coke. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever put some on your tongue? Okay, so you can get a Sweet and Low packet.
Oh, yeah.
Have you done this?
Yes. I've done it, but I forget, So
you put a Sweet and Low, you put a little bit on your tongue. You can walk around for an hour. It'll never dissolve. It doesn't dissolve. It just stays in its form. It's very freaky. Yes.
Okay, that's your challenge of the week. I'm going to go do that. I think I have some Sweet and Low packets at home somewhere.
You're not going to want it in your body. I can't even imagine what it takes to get out of there. Yeah. I mean, I know monk fruit doesn't do that because if you put, they have the little green.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Monk fruit. Oh, yeah, for sure.
It dissolves.
Okay, that's everyone's challenge.
Gross. It's weird.
I think I'm going to monitor my sugar intake and think about sugar alternatives.
Yeah.
And the hidden sugars, don't forget the carbs.
Absolutely.
All right. Join us in the 21-day reset. 20-day. And
21
we'll see you on the inside.